Okay. Should be going. Let me make sure it's going through my mic. Okay. It looks like it's going through Streamlabs, so let me see how's it going in the chat. Jared Punch, Peter Campbell, Bud, how are you guys? Yes, Reed Mashal, Hassan Muhammad. I don't know if I'm the GOAT, I just know of GOATs. Yeah, it was unfortunate for Build King. Sinbad is just being his normal self. He can't exist without being a cunt, but it was unfortunate about Build King. I really wanted to see where this story went. One of the things I was looking forward to like heavily was, you know, the whole setup with the construction sites. I know Shimabakuro's style, so that he'd be way over the top. Like what would probably be, oh yeah, we're building a I don't know, a sports coliseum or something that wouldn't sound that crazy, and it would be like essentially the size of probably like the Grand Canyon, and there'd be like monsters everywhere and stuff. Like there was that part where Smith mentions how he regularly builds in sites where meteor strikes are on the regular. So I'm just like, I really wanted to see like what kind of crazy environments he makes. I really like his style. I'm a little bummed, obviously, about Build King's axing, but unfortunately, I can't undo their decisions. My best case scenario is if, like, a different magazine buys the rights to Build King and maybe does it, because I think Build King in a different magazine would have went a lot better. One of the unfortunate things about Shonen Jump that has been built around its reader base in the last couple of years is, like, people just won't check out a lot of new series like early on because they don't want to get attached in case they get axed, just because they've been so fast to cancel stuff now. And personally, I really wish they had more stuff set up, kind of like how they have Kaiji number 8, where they have more of a, they have a schedule that's more like set for the, you know, the manga team behind it and the mangaka and whatever, and they would just have other series outside of like the main magazine, and then they could just have stuff that's released digitally and only have to print it for volume sales. And they could do something like that for Build King, or they could end up, you know, hopefully, I would really like if they sold it to another magazine. But yeah, it's one of those things. I know a lot of people won't even bother checking out a lot of stuff if it's not after like a certain amount of chapters, because they don't want it to get canceled. You know, after starting it, which I can understand. That's the rough part about it, and you know, for somebody who's been reading manga for a long time, I can again fully understand. I remember when like Hungry Joker and Barrage were coming out, like before Tabata and Horikoshi got big, and I liked their series too. I thought Hungry Joker was really interesting, like where people got their powers, like from just that, and like in general, I thought was really cool. And then I thought Barrage was just cool because the whole space setting. There's not a lot of space series in like action and fantasy for shonen. Most of the time in Japan, something's good in sci-fi. You know, they're going like mech suits and stuff. You know, they do what works, but at the same time, I was happy to see the way that you know, that series was built. Didn't do well, and then they came back with Black Clover and My Hero Academia. So we'll see. Maybe he'll do another manga. I really like his style. My big hopes that if Shimabukuro does do another series, that it's not a gag series, because I know he's done that too. And I like his really over-the-top way of making series and his style of action and kind of like older style shonen creative mind. Because the fact that when people would say that Build King, you know, felt very like early 2000s, mid 2000s shonen, that was one of the things that I really liked about it, is because you have all the other shonen that are trying to be so different from regular shonens. But similar to what I think Black Clover did, is Black Clover tried to stay towards that shonen core and that over-the-top setting that Build King has, plus like some of its humor and its main character and stuff, made me really happy about this style. But unfortunately, people in Japan didn't seem to really like it, so but nothing I can do about that. If there's anything further beyond it, like the only thing I know is there's going to be an extra chapter in Volume 3. Maybe I could get lucky and Shimabukuro will decide to like do it online, like kind of like pre-serialized One Punch Man. Maybe he'll just like, you know, I mean, that's a crazy scenario, but I mean, like, that's still, I mean, it's something I could hope for. Maybe he does, like, a Patreon and just puts out chapters every once in a while. I would absolutely donate, but that's wishful thinking from me. I feel like the best case scenario in reality is like another magazine decides to buy the rights to Build King. Black Divider go burn. Yeah, but Black Dividers get. I made jokes about like it getting so big by one Asa's like Wizard King level that he could just extend it to the edge of the Clover Kingdom. And I mean we're getting there now. It's not nearly that big, but I mean he's on the right pathway. So mad that about Build King. I'm gonna keep an open mind for now. Yeah, I'll at least try the following series. I mean like, but Shonen Jump right now is like half gag series and rom-coms. I really want another like action adventure shonen fantasy, and the stuff about like vigor and like how crazy of a world Build King was already setting, because that was the huge thing for me and like in general of like getting past or like the accent for Build King as well, is I wanted to see in like the outer world. I wanted to see beyond just Hammer Island. And like the starting port they went to and the license area for Build On. I wanted to see them go to like really crazy locations. And the thing it's gonna drive me insane is if like anybody who didn't like get very far in Build King or didn't read Toriko, if they end up reading Toriko and liking the style, because like he does so well at crafting a world and having these characters experience it and go on a journey with it. And even if I'm not like a One Piece fan, that was like the thing about One Piece I do like, is I really like the exploration. One of the things I really enjoy about Eden Zero as well is just them going through space, going to all these places. But like I said, unfortunately, didn't happen. Inspired by Hunter x Hunter, what is? Oh, your novel is? Oh, you're in the process of getting published? That's good, man. Good luck to you. It's your boy Phil Jones. What's up, Phil Jones? How are you doing today? What's up, JK Network? Yeah, it's unfortunate about Build King. Will I review Fire Force? I wanted to get back to Fire Force and I procrastinated for so long, but it's almost over, so it's almost pointless at this point. I do like it though. That one chapter with like all the pictures of the one lady. I don't know if she's a voice actor, if she's like part of the team or what. I actually don't know the whole role of the character. I think she might be the voice actor for one of the characters in the anime. But yeah, that was a super strange setup. In terms of design, where would you rank Yoko amongst Hero's other villain designs? I mean, Yoko? Oh, you mean specifically this one? I mean, this one's okay. I like it. It's not that crazy, but I do like the general design. I think the horns are probably like one of my more favorite parts. I think this could have been better is if he made her swords like a little bit more unique. Because Yoko's form, it is cool, but there's nothing that crazy about it, and it doesn't even have any really memorable abilities. Like, she just becomes like very skilled and powerful in swordsmanship. She didn't even get like any like swords skills, or not skills, sorry, kind of like hacks or abilities on top of that. She just was like a powerful sword person. Sorry for Rex, I'm still dealing with the loss of Hungry Joker. I mean, yeah, but we got Black Clover, and so it's unfortunate we lost that, but Tabata did come back and do another one. It's in reverse with this. Like, if he did Build King and then Build King on Axe and then made Toriko, or vice versa. Well, no, because in that order, where he comes back with something. But it's, like, upsetting because with the early mangaka, where they're still starting out, like with Hungry Joker, I didn't really know what exactly, like, Tabata would do if Hungry Joker, didn't get Axe and kept going. Whereas, like, with Build King, I know Shimabakuro's style, so I know where, the general ideas of how crazy and, like, adventurous he would take the series. Whereas, like, if Tabata did Black Clover and then did Hungry Joker and Hungry Joker got canceled, then I would have been way more upset. Because after reading Black Clover, I would know kind of, like, the general direction Tabata likes to take this. Which I guess it really, at that point, if you read Black Clover and then go back and read Hungry Joker, it's a little upsetting because then you kind of have an idea of what he could have done as well. Watch 100 Years Ago gets canceled next. That's not going to happen. Mishima is too consistent of a money maker for them to ever do anything to him. I think it makes the best designs for Demon Slayer, Tabata manga for Demon Slayer. Oh, definitely not Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer doesn't have a lot of like designs that I was like really big to. What's his name? Man. I'm trying to remember Upper Moon 6 name. I had his name like branded in my head for so long, but I just almost avoided out all Demon Slayer knowledge. What is his name? Damn it. It's been so long. Like, I used to remember his name. I used to continuously, with no effort, remember his weird Japanese name when I was reviewing the chapters when he was fighting, because, like, he was really cool. But Upper Moon 1, the Moon Dot guy. He was cool. I wasn't a huge fan again on a lot of the other ones. I like Tabata's having a more like a species of demon does kind of consistency with it, like with the way that we've seen, Nama, Lilith, Zaggard, whatnot, the way that their bodies, Libe, where they have like the negative mana forming over them like clothes. I think that's cool. I really do like the fact they all have their own unique horn and tail designs. Like with the Aetherius demons, like their designs are way more in different directions. Like they're not the same kind of, they don't have the same origins, because like there's a natural formation of the devils in Black Clover, and like the demons in Fairy Tail we know are natural, like over on Galuna Island. I don't, none of their designs are that crazy, but if you want to count like the Aetherius, you look at like Torafusa was one of my favorites. Bloodman, I really liked his, and he just is like this weird black energy void space almost like appearance. Margears. Sayla's was really cool. Sayla and Kyoka both had really cool Aetherius. What's up, Sir Tusk? How are you doing today? So, I'll try to get my novel into manga. Well, I hope you succeed. Got to get to 50 chapters for reading a new one. See, that's the thing, is there's a lot of people like that, so a lot of people wouldn't even give most new series unless it pops off immediately and people start talking about it all over the place. Other than that, like, people won't check out a lot of the newer stuff. And I think that Shonen Jump really needs to like sit down and think about their current status for the next couple of years. Because like, though I really liked Build King, it was set up in a way that it was going to be a long-going manga. Like, not only was like, does it come from somebody who's experienced with the long-going series, Toriko was almost 400 chapters. And it would have went on longer if the sales didn't start going down near the later portions of it. Unfortunately, the anime didn't help Toriko a lot. The anime wasn't very good in terms of quality. So, the normal big anime boost that we've come to know with a lot of series did not happen for Toriko. But Build King was set up that it easily could have gone as long as Toriko, if not longer. Whereas, if you look at a series like, you look at Demon Slayer, or you look at Jujutsu Kaisen, very popular, obviously big deals for them to have around, but their series they're not sticking around that long. Demon Slayer is ending in, Demon Slayer ended. Jujutsu Kaisen is ending in like 2 years. It was confirmed that it only has about 2 years, by the creator. So there's, that big jump that it's had in sales is going to be way more limited. Granted, like, they have like One Piece, and One Piece can only hold the manga for so long, or the magazine for so long. My Hero's in its final acts, and Black Clover is like the only other mangaka that right now that said that they'll go for a long time. So, I mean, Gyotaro, I just looked over Mercenary. Gyotaro is cool, but he was never, like, his design was never, like, amazing. He just was a cool dude. I liked his character a lot more than his design. His design is alright. But Shonen Jump, in a couple of years, they're not going to have any of these other big series. And that's the big problem that I think that they're going to have if they don't, if they don't either encourage more of these mangaka to go longer, or be willing to take some lower numbers on stuff that like the manga can go for a lower number, or go for a long time, even if like the volumes are making a lower number. Because like say like Build King sits pretty low for like the first couple volumes, and then maybe eventually it picks up. Maybe there's a bunch of people that get into it after they think it's not going to get axed, and because of that it's able to sell more, and then can go continuous on for X amount of years. Because think about like Black Clover's manga, it sells well, but like compared to the other like big series right now in Shonen Jump, it doesn't sell nearly as much as them. The thing is, it still sells pretty well consistently. The thing that obviously helped it a lot is the anime. Like, the anime consistently makes a lot of money. But it shows you can, if you have something around, you have the like, long enough, you're going to obviously build up a good enough fan base. Unless it was like a Samurai 8 scenario. Because that was the unfortunate thing with Samurai 8. Samurai 8 did more of like what I'm implying I wish they would do with more series. Is let them stick around longer. Because the whole problem of, we only have so much room in like the magazine, is completely cut out if you just do it digitally. If, say, like, they had a bunch of other series, like, say that, like, the Shonen Jump magazine, in the physical magazine, they only put, like, the really high-selling stuff. They only put, like, what's, like, hot right there. And then series that they want to have that could get in there, they have on the side. Like, say we could have kept Phantom Seer and put Phantom Seer in a digital release only, and then digital release could you know, you could just do a general thing. And something like Kaiju number 8, which is blowing up right now, they could take and put it in the physical magazine. It's really weird because that's what I thought they were going to do when they initially went digital. I don't remember if I talked about it in any of my videos or my streams, but I remember thinking about it a lot. It's like, okay, well, maybe they'll let series go on for a good chunk longer before Axum because they don't have that limit. They won't be constricted to that limited magazine size upon, you know, a release. Because when they put their magazine in stores, they can only have so many pages, so every single series in there has to fit a good level, higher level of criteria. And that's why they Axum so much quicker than, like, probably any other magazine. Like, most of the time I don't see series get cut in a different magazine at, you know, 15 chapters in, unless something's going on in the background. Like, I've seen, like, some people are sick, maybe. Like, I've seen some manga that got cut because, like, the manga died over, like, an illness or something. It's upsetting, because I feel like it could have done so well in a longer run. But like I said, in a couple of years, if they don't get a couple more long-going series that are willing to be like Black Clover, and like where Tabata said he can go as long as Naruto or One Piece, you know, near the upper hundreds to like edge near 1,000 chapter numbers. We don't know if for sure it's going to happen, but he's already stated that that level of distance is something he's willing to do. Whereas these other guys, they like Jujutsu Kaisen only 2 more years, so it's only going to be at best somewhere around like the 200 chapters to a little over 200, which is still a good size, but just imagine if Kimetsu no Yaiba, you know, old Demon Slayer didn't decide to end, and it was riding that wave while still putting out volumes. That's what I thought, like, they were going to try and do, you know, to help push things along after, you know, and build up, like, another base after, you know, the potential ending, or not potential, the eventual ending of One Piece, but they're not doing that. My voice sounds different. Is it good now? I had something caught my throat a little bit ago. I regretfully didn't bring a glass of water to put on my desk for the stream, and you know, in the rare case that my throat might get too dry, and then I'll start having a horrible coughing spasm. But other than that, I'm doing pretty all right. I hope nothing's wrong with my voice. It might just be my mic. Well, Jump Plus is becoming increasingly popular. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Jump Plus, is that the all-digital one? I can't wait to see Magna and Zoro's design. Zoro's is the one... Zoro's is the one I'm more interested in. Magna, I was just hoping he's going to be bigger. Like, he's going to have gained muscle mass, kind of, you know, more akin to, like, Yami and Asta, to try and get more physically stronger. And then I just want to see what they're going to do. Legitimately, after Luck got Ultimate Magic, whatever Zora and Magna have now has to be big. I was thinking about it, and maybe it's not that they're going to have lots of crazy new things, but maybe they're going to have a bunch of teamwork-based spells. Like, what if Magna took one of his fireballs, like a big fireball, threw it at Zora, and then Zora was able to kind of catch it in his reflection spell and with his runes, and then use Monomyth and kind of like bounce it around continuously, doubling it back and forth. And then kind of like they become a great strategic team. Because one thing I think Magna and Zora could do is like a very trap and plan-based setup. Especially with Zora having, what was that one spell? Cowardice's Revelation or something? Where he could instantly show other people where he's put his trap so they just know they're there. And then combine that with Magna's already, you know, pretty wily nature. I think they would just make a great duo. So we'll see about that. Deku smoking on that Muscular pack. I told people Muscular is going to get his ass beat. Did you enjoy Godzilla? Oh, what should I enjoy more? King Kong or Justice League? I kind of think Godzilla. I've rewatched Godzilla once so far. Like, I've watched it twice. And then I've only watched Justice League, the Snyder Cut 1 through once. I'll probably rewatch Godzilla, I'd say one more time before I would be able to make a for sure claim on that, and then Justice League at least one more time. The thing about King Kong versus Godzilla, though, is there's not a lot of stuff you have to pay. I don't want to say there's not a lot of stuff that you have to pay attention to, but it has way more of a way more easy to understand plot and setup rather than like a 4-hour Justice League where you also have to remember all the other crazy stuff from the previous movies, while blocking out any memory of the Joss Whedon Justice League, because any knowledge of that one just ruin it. It spoils certain scenes if you try and figure out like what's coming next and certain events in that movie and mix it up with the horrible one that Joss Whedon did. JK Network, oh, it's not at me. What does being loved by Mana exactly mean? What type of hacks will you get? I always just assumed it's more of just like a raw Mana manipulation. There's just going to be some weird setup if he can control somebody else's mana, or at least in the area. It's a strange concept because we keep seeing it, but Tabata hasn't really given us any form of concrete explanation on it. Have I read the new chapter in One Piece? I did. I don't really get... I honestly don't really see how Luffy is keeping up with Kaido at all in base while knocking him around. Like, Kaido... If it was like Kaido and him fighting like barefisted and just having Luffy going with quick hits and barely able to dodge attacks while doing it in base, but he is putting Kaido in the dirt like bad. And I know that there's this whole thing going on with the Conqueror's Haki, but I'm really serious. Like, the second Kaido lost his whole like big mega tank, he just keeps getting his ass beat. Not losing instantly, but it's more of like, there's so many panels where he's just getting hit and getting hit and getting hit, and he's just taking these beatings. And it makes him seem so slow or so kind of just, I don't know, dim-witted. I can't really tell if he's just letting him do it is the problem. I'm hoping something like that is stated in the next chapter, like maybe Kaido wanted just to take a couple punches by him. But he's been so consistently pushed around in this fight for good chunks of time before he starts to fight. And I don't know, it makes me really wonder how, like, if I'm gonna like Kaido in the long run, because like I've been back and forth with him a lot. I really liked him initially just because the design of him was cool. He had a cool entrance, and then like he had revealed Dragon Devil Fruit, and he like the start. I was. After the point where he beat Luffy, then I was just like, why doesn't he just kill him? Just kill him. Don't wait to kind of shackle this guy up. It's not gonna work. Ends up letting Luffy do his thing, and I don't know, Kaido in the flashback I didn't really like. Like, it bothered me that he was like simping almost over Oden, and then acting like he just acted like he was a fanboy for him. It was more of like an Oden hype tool, and then. I don't know, they made him just seem like he was just some goon for, like, the rest of it. I really liked, though, when he got up a couple chapters ago and said he was having fun fighting the Supernova. I thought that was good. That was a good character moment. So, like I said, I've been back and forth with Kaido a lot. I'm hoping I like him, overall. I've been very up and down with him. But I'm hoping that I can enjoy his character without just kind of being a little irked by moments that I don't like how he behaves in like a weird manner. I don't know. I've always been really hit and miss with a good chunk of Oda's characters, at least from my perspective. I actually watched Mahler's review of Snyder Cut and reveals quite a lot of things. Oh, I haven't watched that. Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, One Piece, Black Clover have been fire recently. I liked most things that was going on in Shonen Jump. Like, a lot of stuff's been going really good, and I was happy with where Build King was going with the action, and then unfortunately, like, everything else was pretty solid, getting good setup, pretty good hype. Build King included, but unfortunately, we're not going to get to see where that goes. It was unfortunate, too, because I got volume 1 of Build King in the mail yesterday, and I wanted to start a collection. I'm going to still get all 3 volumes. But, if they're not going to make any from there, then I'm just going to have a sad collection. I usually don't collect canceled manga volumes just because it bums me out, but I do want to support Build King. There was another one that I might go back and buy, Golem Hearts. I'm just waiting to see if that manga gets another series serialized in Shonen Jump. I've liked his previous 2. I did enjoy Golem Hearts, but I can see some of the flaws in it. The next one he's doing, I did a review on it. So if you're interested, after I kind of go into it real quick, it's on my channel. It's called Fantasies. It's like this night. It's like a 1950 style New York mafia like turf war, and all the characters like are modified by this drug called fantasies, where it gives you a power based off of a like a cryptozoology creature, like a creature mythology. The main character's power was he of a cyclops, and his whole gang had a whole bunch of different monster abilities. It has a lot of general potential, and I like that a lot. It has that strong, I think, different action vibe that you can get with something like like Hitman Reborn had. Not a lot of series down the line of like the Mafia and whatnot, especially making a different power system. Because though I personally, my favorite is fantasy. Like, obviously I love Fairy Tail of Black Clover, like Berserk, stuff with magic and, dragons and all that. That's my favorite. But I do like things when they end up making their own version of, like, a power system, or if they take a different, a very different theme for what their series is going to be. Again, that's one of the things I always admired. I'm not a big fan of One Piece, but I do admire that about Oda is, like, he made his series about pirates. Like, how many other series are really about pirates? You have very few in, in the entirety of, like, the manga genre. Like, there's lots of stuff about wizards and ninjas and, like, exorcists and whatnot. Again, one of the things I liked about Build King, it had a different theme, and it was doing its own power system. And Vigor had so much potential to be so cool. Anyway, let me read some more of the chat. Are you going to review the final Attack on Titan chapter? Probably not. Like, Attack on Titan I enjoyed, but it was like in that same area of stuff like My Hero and like Yozakura Family. Like, I enjoyed them, but I don't really like them enough to talk about them. And I don't mean that in like a way of like, I don't really like them much. It's like I don't read them beyond like their initial chapters, and I don't have that same like continuous theorizing idea of like, okay, what's gonna happen next in the story, where things, it's more of like living as like the series is going, kind of like just experiencing as it goes. Do you think Kaido is working for an evil organization or working with Rames? Kaido has to be working by himself. Like, well, he's teamed up with Big Mom, but I mean, like, there's gotta, I don't think that he should be tied to anybody, like, in form of working for, like, in unemployed, or like he is below ranked in some other bad guy group that he's part of. I don't want that, because Kaido's current, like, big thing that really holds him together is he is just this big, powerful pirate, like, warlord. I don't want him to be under any form of sovereign, or like anyone to be ranked above him in like a general conjoined hierarchy. Anyone that is more powerful than him should be an enemy. My birthday's coming next week. Well, happy birthday to you, Jared Punch. I hope you have a good birthday, man. Yoko looks like a combination of Neo, Minerva, and Sayla. Theories form. Her weird cat mouth obviously is her own thing. I wonder if she would get along with Miliana. Fairy Tail's always been one of the best sellings in the magazine. 100 Quest is being canceled. Yeah, there's too much merchandise with Fairy Tail. And Fairy Tail 100 Quest on the app. Let me see on the app. On the app where 100 Years Quest is released, we'll see how many people have it bookmarked. Because it actually has a lot of people that have it set for their favorites. Let me see. 585,000. So that many people are going to be buying the chapter every time that comes out. And I really wonder what 100 Years Quest's like profit margin, like profit numbers actually are. Because I don't know how well it sells like every volume for Japan, or its worldwide release or anything like that. But like that has to be really good for digital, because they're not printing it as the chapter. Which, again, is one of the things I wish Shonen Jump would start to do. They don't have to spend any money printing the chapter. They only have to spend money on the volumes. So there's only real profit after that point. You're paying Mishima, and you're paying, his staff, and that's the chapter. And then, 500, nearly 600,000 people buy the chapter whenever they come out. Like, I really wish Shonen Jump would get on that. I don't know how they got ahead with the app system for a subscription, but they're still behind on digital distribution of manga in total. It's because right now they don't have a lot of new stuff since like the app came out. They have most of the content on their app system is all old stuff. That it's just they have the digital versions of the chapters, like a ton of old manga, backlogged. Whereas like others, like the manga poke site, the one that 100 Years Quest has, like they have a bunch of old stuff and they have tons of new manga all connected to their digital app because they don't have to spend money printing a volume with everything that they're putting out, and they're just getting way more profit. I need Shonen Jump to do that. Because again, imagine if like Phantom Seer and Build King and grab another one of these other series, they got canceled, people liked. And what happened would be like, oh, you're not selling enough to be in the physical magazine, we're just going to put you digital. And then, bam, right there. And one of the things as well is with Shonen Jump, they don't even, they could even set it up to, have a strike system. Say, initially, something is printed in the physical magazine. Okay, it's not selling well enough or getting popular enough to stay in the official magazine, so it goes digital only. And then at digital only in a tier where they only print out the physical volumes. And then say maybe the physical volumes aren't selling enough to to keep distribution going. So you put it down one level till it's where it's like, when you subscribe to something, like when you maybe like a game or a streaming service, and there's tiers to it, something that they just give you for free. You could have something like that. Maybe that's you're on your last legs. They're not going to print your volume, but you're one of those series that's pretty much in the magazine as a free read for subscribing or something. And then maybe exit after that. I don't know. I think they have so much more potential to let series go on further, because I do think it's generally hard in concept for these guys, these mangaka, to try and get the reader, they have to take their general idea for a scaled story, whether it's 100 chapters or say maybe they want to do a 500 chapter series, and try and get enough information just right within the first 15 to 20 chapters to get people hooked on it enough that they can play out the actual story. Because think about, we got 29 people, and think about, Black Clover. Think about where Black Clover is now, but think about where it was in the first 15 or so chapters. That's they go to the dungeon arc. You have no idea how large scale things are going to get, and the time you get to set that up, and in the hopes that you get to do your large scale story, you show up to Asta and them going into a dungeon to fight some enemy from a different kingdom. None of this demonology, end of the world, summoning Lucifero stuff. Look at Fairy Tail. In the first 15 chapters, they're dealing with Eisenwald, and then look at that. 500 plus chapters later, they're trying to prevent Zera from resetting the timelines. You're never going to be able to get, I think, the best parts of it in the beginning of the story just right that often. Because imagine for all the people that like One Piece, imagine if Oda has essentially this whole story in mind, 1,000 plus chapter manga, and say if you printed it now, and just because people don't like a lot of slow paced stories anymore, that's one of the unfortunate things about as well for modern shonen, which is one of the problems. You have to go fast paced in order to get people's attention. They aren't willing to wait as long. But imagine if One Piece, it would publications just started, and then people said, oh, it's too slow, and it doesn't get enough, and they would get canceled. And then, knowing how, a story that big and so that grand wouldn't get to play out because people weren't willing to, let it, people weren't really interested in the slower early parts of it. 15 or something chapters, that's where is that in, One Piece? I think that's, I think that's starting with Arlong Park. I mean, that's a good area in this series as well, but it still doesn't get to the grand scale of things. So I think it would have a little bit less of a chance in modern day, where it's I think people are more patient, more patient when One Piece was starting versus now people need to get deep into things within 15 or so chapters.
Oh, Kokushibo, yeah, that's Upper Moon one. Does Hunter's Quest sell well? I've been wondering. I've seen that the volumes. I have looked before at volumes. I haven't looked in a while, but they sell pretty well. Not like crazy because it's bi-weekly of a manga that's only every chapter is put out initially digitally. So at that point it's really just the people who probably are on the app, and then fans that are just waiting. However long it is. I think that's like 4 months usually between volumes. But that's still, like I said, I think it's the putting out a whenever they put out a chapter, it's instantly distributed as well. That's another thing, one of the better things about digitally. You don't have to send it out to stores and whatever, and there's an unlimited supply of them. So instantly everybody in that category can purchase your item. I wish Shonen Jump would realize that. What are the chances the 100 Years Quest is getting an anime? There's a potential announcement. I've heard rumors maybe this year they'll announce something because it's Fairy Tail's 15th year anniversary. So they might. I really hope so. I think one of the reasons that it'd be smart if they do, like, if it is planned, and one of the reasons they wait till later portions of the year, because I think that if you announced it too early, it could mess with Eden Zero's initial run. I think Eden Zero right now needs to have the release of its anime, and for people to get on that and to be buying the manga and stuff, and gaining popularity from its anime debut, and then wait, because I still want Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest anime hype could block over or mess with Eden Zero stuff, because they're adjacent, and I feel like there are a lot of Eden Zero fans that do like Fairy Tail, but there's also a good chunk that would potentially put way more attention and time towards this general discussion for 100 Years Quest for Eden Zero. You don't want those windows of just their distribution to clash at all. Let me see. I want to get caught up, at least somewhat caught up in the comments. There are like 7 prominent manga in Shonen Jump. Yeah, there's not a lot that I'm really hyped about, and that was one of the things that made me really sad about Build King's cancellation. Is I did genuinely like Build King, so like besides Black Clover, that was like my big hype thing to read. Because unfortunately, I'm still waiting on more Chainsaw Man content. I love Chainsaw Man, and that was one of my big hype things, and it's in complete silence of Chainsaw Man Part 2. But I genuinely really enjoyed Build King. It got me really hyped to read, and so right now I'm gonna have Black Clover to get me hyped right now with Shonen Jump. Because most of the other stuff right now that I enjoy on a regular release are from different magazines, like 100 Years Quest, Eden Zero, Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Like I enjoy those a lot. Like those are I'm having a lot of fun with. But then as well as Black Clover, and then unfortunately Build King. Maybe whenever Chainsaw Man comes back. But I think when Chainsaw Man even comes back, it's either going to be bi-weekly or monthly, I think. I don't think it's going to be in Shonen Jump. It's going to be like in Shonen Geek or whatever. I see people calling Mishima because of Urza's 100 years similarity to Zoro's Ashura. Though, first off, anybody who says that is goofy. Both of the ideas on that are just based off of things in mythology with multiple arms. But Zoro's is off of Ashura because the thing where he's got I think the 3 heads, I think Ashura does. Either way, they're not even based off of the same thing in the mythology. But on top of that, anybody who thinks that Zoro invented having multiple limbs with swords is goofy. Many of the top 5 are ending in 3 years. Yeah, that's one of the things. They're running out of time. And One Piece sells consistently like the biggest thing for them. Like Kimetsu no Yaiba overtaking them for a little bit was crazy. But the thing is they had potentially something that could make up for One Piece when One Piece ends, but for some reason Demon Slayer decided to end, even though it had other countries it could have gone to. Like the ending of Demon Slayer was the weirdest thing to me. Because it just got hyped. Like, the anime just blew up. The manga was selling like crazy. You think that they would want to, ride that wave. But the author decided to end it. And I was just like, okay. I'm really surprised I didn't convince her to keep going. But who knows where that's going to go. I don't think ever. I don't know if she's gonna come back with a sequel or continuation or what. Like, I don't think there's any like word from her at all. I think she's been in complete silence since the ending. I have no idea. I've heard zero news actually on her doing any more manga. Maybe she's just gonna, ride that Kimetsu no Yaiba success and just retire right there. Four Nights of the Apocalypse? No, Four Nights of the Apocalypse is not in Shonen Jump. It's in Shonen Magazine. Let's see. We Shonen Jump really needs to take care of their manga because I hear that they're thought of anything. Wait. Because I don't even hear their thought of anything about them personally. I don't know what this means, Michael Malong. Michael Bolang, sorry. Wish we saw a big Buddhist like demon. It would have been cool. We had our potential there. What do you mean more gates 11? Oh, I think that right when Asta defeats Lilith or Lilith runs away, that another gate is going to open. I think at that point another gate is going to open. And they're gonna have to go, and they're gonna have the needed wording from Noct that, hey, stop Morris. Because one thing I forgot to bring up on Josuke's podcast, and I'm gonna talk to them about it next chapter, is Noct was the only one who knew about Morris. So say that he was successful at trapping Lilith and Nama. Nobody would know about Morris, so Morris would just open another damn gate. Like, I didn't even think about that, until, sometime on, I think, like, an hour or two after the chapter came out, and I forgot to bring it up with everybody on the stream. But I'm going to talk to them. I'm probably going to add them on Twitter, because I completely forgot about that. If Noct was successful in sealing them inside his shadow tomb, then nobody would ever know about Noct speeding up the damn gate, and then they would all just be fighting the damn Dark Triad, and Morris would just keep opening up more damn gates, and more high-level demons would come out. Like, these devils are just gonna keep raining in. Lady Diane Fairytale was a YouTuber? Wait, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Demon Slayer should have had a time skip. Muzan and other demons fought each other and Muzan lost. The thing is, they introduced this is the thing to me, the biggest thing to me that confused me about Kimetsu no Yaiba's ending, is they introduced the whole fact that, okay, defeat Muzan, defeat the demons, essentially. But with the whole introduction with Doma, they could, what was it, high level enough demons could evolve to the same level Muzan was. So they could pretty much create another boss that is the same tier as Muzan. And then continue after Muzan. And there's mentionings of other stuff in other countries. Like, it's in real world Japan. They mention stuff in France at one point from a book. And you can have demons around the world, and then maybe see demon slayers from other countries and try and figure out the root of all demons and actually destroy it for the whole planet. I don't know. There was so much potential that they could have just kept going with the series, but didn't. What if Muzan was just the strongest demon in Japan? And then they go to China, or they go to, I don't know, they go to somewhere in Russia and go fight demons over there. And then we can see it just mythological demons and monsters from other countries as the series progresses, and see just exploration on top of it. It could have been so much more interesting of a series, but it just ended. And they would have made so much more damn money. They would have just rode that wave forever. Because one of the things about Demon Slayer that is the biggest thing to me is it caught so many new, people who barely watch anime and stuff got super into Demon Slayer and watched it and bought the materials and the DVDs and everything. And new viewership is a big thing. 'Cause you're essentially pulling these people, now new people, into the franchise. And when you get your first big thing, a lot of people are dedicated to certain fandoms, and especially when you get your core earliest ones that you're just a diehard fan of. That's essentially a forever person to just add to your sales. You're just gonna be a part of that. You're a part of that. You're gonna probably buy into that brand until it's gone. Me reading a paragraph. Yeah, I read a paragraph and then I talk for 20 minutes. Muzan sucked. Yeah, that was the thing that made me sad, because when I read the manga before the anime got a studio. When the anime got announced, I was like, oh, I'm going to read it. I read the manga, and then they announced it was done by Mappa, and I knew that Demon Slayer was going to blow up. I've said this a bunch of times. It's one of my... I have a lot of good calls on a lot of series. I called Jujutsu Kaisen. I called Chainsaw Man. I don't think I talked about it in the videos, but I knew Demon Slayer was going to blow up just based off of the series and Mappa, as long as they made, you know, a really good animation series. I didn't think it was going to blow up as big as it did. I thought it was going to be like how Jujutsu Kaisen is right now. I didn't think it would overtake One Piece. That was completely beyond my expectations where the series at. I just knew it was going to be really good because I saw the choreography and the visual displays were really cool, and that's something that I think people would just genuinely really like to see. You know, just a really cool samurai versus demon series, and though most of their techniques aren't real, drawing them visually really beautifully to make them cool with the elements and stuff was a really good idea. But Muzan, at the time when I was like, oh man, this anime is gonna blow up. Muzan, I think it was right when Muzan called in a bunch of the lower moons, like I think lower moon, I think 5 through 6 or something. I don't remember which one, and he was killing them. You know, that would piss him off. He would just instantly kill him. He was so cool at the time because at that point he just had the mysterious super boss, like dangerous kind of bad guy level. And then once we actually got to him and his back, like his actual display as his fights and stuff, his character, he was lame. I was so bad Kokushiba evolved and like went beyond Muzan because he was way cooler. And on top of that, Kokushiba was like the parallel to Tanjiro, because Tanjiro's whole thing is he's fighting and doing all this for his sister. Like, he's the older brother. That's what he's, you know, his staple thing in the series. Where, Kokushibo, he was the older brother to Yoriichi, and he betrayed his brother and betrayed humanity just to be stronger than him, and kind of, you know, backstabbed his brother. You know, you had the good brother and the bad brother. Like, you had Tanjiro learning the sun breath. Here's Kokushibo with the moon breath. You could have had a really freaking cool thing with them, and they never fight. I can't believe that. That was one of the weirdest things about the series again as well. So many of the things that was really well built up and planned out never touched at all. And it drove me insane when that happened. When he was evolving and then just stopped. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why? Why have the whole introduction of upper moon, like high upper moon level demons could evolve beyond Muzan and then don't do anything with it? Like, the series was setting itself up to have a bigger scale and go longer than Muzan, and then just didn't do anything with it. It was unfortunate. Godzilla vs. Kong was way too short. It's actually, I don't know, I think it's actually pretty well sized. I just rewatched it yesterday, and it feels pretty nice to me. I don't think it felt too long or too short. I would have liked it to be longer, but I feel like I only want it to be longer to have more fights. I don't really know how much more of the human scenes I want. I think that's one of the things that we got to keep in mind, is like every chunk of them doing like big fight stuff obviously would cost a lot of money, and I just would never want the movie to feel like it would drag on, because one of the things I really like about Godzilla vs. King Kong, it feels really nice of the size of a film. Because the thing you're there mostly for is Godzilla and Kong. The human interactions, I don't care a lot for most of the time. But there's only so much they could have really added in that would have been good content, I think. But I thought it was really good already. Villains forget to level up. It really depends on what villain you're really... Sorry, I just almost freaking... I didn't sound like a huge foam of words. Whatever villain you're talking about. Specifically Muscular. Yeah, Muscular didn't plan that out very well. But I mean, he's just brute force. He's just a big meathead. Rex, since the high tide won't happen until 3 days, that means Hero can dry the out for 3 days straight, which is cool. I'm hoping so. I really want to see some cool spaceship fights too. That's one of my big things right now. And then Wise, I need Wise to modify Jin and get him into overdrive. You watched the leaked episode of Eden Zero, waiting for official release. I'm waiting for HD. Like I'm just waiting for some good quality because I'm gonna buy the Oh no, I got it on Hulu actually. So when it comes out officially, I'm just gonna watch it again officially. But I mean, I already support Mishima enough. I'm sure he'll be okay with it. Buy like almost all of his shit. Blackbeard, any Black Clover villain? Blackbeard's cool. Blackbeard has a lot of potential. I do like him. Do I like him more than Dante, though? I don't know. I really like Dante, but the thing about Blackbeard is he just has more content than Dante. And Dante has such a risky position right now, because I don't know what Tabata's plan is going to be with him in a longer range, if he's going to keep him around. And I like him so far. I like Dante. I think he's pretty cool. And I like that Tabata's not afraid to have him lose and bring him back. Yes, Rip Build King. Thank you very much, Zyguy. How many chapters do you think Al Cosmos until with 3 days until high tide? I don't know, probably like 20 chapters, 30 chapters. It could be even more. We don't know. It's gonna be. Let me think about like the whole point of the Grand Magic Games. Like 3 days. 3 days could only be 20, somewhere between 20 to 30 chapters you could get, I think, with a good spacing out of events. It really, really depends on like how far Mishima just wants to have this war go. Because we know how long 3 days can feel like in a manga. It could feel like a long damn time, or a normal amount of time. When you think about like, what was it, the whole last arc of Naruto takes place over like a few days during was it the Fourth Shinobi War? Kaido is a tank, I suppose. Yeah, he's just taking all these hits, man. But he's like a slow tank. Like I feel like he should be so much faster and able to deal with. He should be mopping base Luffy. Like there's no point where Luffy should be in base and dealing this well with Kaido. If he was at least in second gear, I'd be okay with it. One Piece fans are starving for fights, bro. They haven't had any like good fights in a bit. I'm really hoping Kaido puts up a battle. Like so far, he just gets punched a bunch, and then he says, "Okay, now I'm gonna be more serious." And then he like starts to do more big moves, and then they just counter that, and he keeps getting knocked down again and again. Okay, next level. Like I'm waiting for him to just be a monster. Like when are we gonna be seeing Kaido like shown? This is why he's so powerful. Is he gonna have an awakening? Is he gonna have another level? Like, what is he gonna do? I really want Kaido to feel like that, that character that was first presented when he fell off of the cloud and just impacted onto the island. And you saw like this gigantic fucking buff dude. And especially after Oda changed his design from looking goofy to looking as this giant meat tank with horns. And, like, since his fights happened... No, not the initial one, because, like, when he blitzed 4th gear Luffy, and then now Luffy's fighting him in base. Fighting hybrid Kaido in base. It just makes Kaido, like, I don't know. It just doesn't make him... He doesn't have that same aura of, like, where I thought his character was going to be right now. It's unfortunate. I've been so back and forth with him since this arc is gone. I'm hoping so bad that he's just letting Luffy hit him right now because he wants to try out, like, see how hard that hockey can hit. And then he's going to start fighting seriously. And I do hope he's going to show he has Awakening. I'm going to be mad if he doesn't, because this is essentially the biggest what are those ones called? What are the Zoan? The biggest Zoan Devil Fruit user in the series. This is the top Zoan Devil Fruit user. He should be he needs to be treated like the top one. He needs to be treated like the alpha of an entire branch of Devil Fruits. Because who's really going to be above him? I guess maybe no, because he should be stronger than Sengoku, shouldn't he? I don't know. I would need to look at some more knowledgeable One Piece power level people. I assume he would be more powerful. Because, yeah, they say he's like the strongest in a 1v1 fight. And yet Luffy's pushing him around. I don't know. Perhaps people lost their minds when Attack on Titan ended because of Eren slander. Man, that was funny. At the same time, though, some people were being goofy. I thought it was that the last chapter was... I thought it was fair. I don't know. Some of the decisions I'm very not okay with. Like Eren having his mom killed was just kind of weird. Like he just decided, oh, I'm gonna go through with this. It's like, man, he really became a slave to destiny. He had to like do all these things specifically and let them reoccur. It was unfortunate. I don't know. Oh, Kenmano, thank you for the $20 super chat. When are you going to do the Zancro video, bro? We were waiting for a while. I hope you have a great day. Hope all is well. Don't worry, I'm still going to do it. I was thinking about it the other day because I was planning out another one. I really want to do one on Wall at some point, but I know I still got to do my Ivan video, and then I'm going to do Zancro, and then I'm probably going to do Wall. But it's unfortunate. I'm doing to... I got to wait for the... There we go. I gotta wait for, like, when I would do the Ivan video, every time, it's like what Mishima, I think, had planned with him, is he just came up with a better idea, and that one kept getting pushed back. I might just wait and do Ivan a different time, and just do the Zancro one, and then go to Wall, and Ivan can just be put on a back burner, because I wanted to do one on that loser, but I have a lot of things I want to talk about him, and, like, where he can't go, I want to just put that one for a later date. And really think about that in a more grand scheme. Because the thing to talk about with him the most is what did Mishima have planned for him and then never do with him. Falco and Gabby no, Falco is a fool, and I didn't like Gabby. I really wish Gabby didn't make it in the end. It's kind of hard for Oda with his limit is just under 20 pages. Yeah, but like there's a lot of stuff that he does that it just feels... It just feels like it's filler. Like when characters are just running around for too long of periods of time. Like last thing I was really hyped for, I'd say, is Yamato. Like I really wanted to see Hybrid Kaido and Yamato. And Hybrid Kaido, I didn't really like it at first, but I kind of like it more after this last chapter. I like seeing it in action with like his really long, cool dragon tail. I like the design more after seeing it in action, but at the same time, Yamato has done nothing but run around Kaido's castle since she showed up for like 20 chapters. Like, I don't really know what the point of her character is. It's the same thing with Odin's son. He hasn't done anything since his introduction other than kind of like be existent in the series. Like, what does he do? I don't know. Shonen Jump is slowing down as recently as they're going to need more big manga to keep it strong. Yeah, that's one of the things. They can't... If they don't have ones that have longer... that are built for a longer lifespan going, then they're going to eventually just have these short series, and... what are they going to do if they don't have, like, if they only have, Black Clover, and then a bunch of brand new series that keep cycling in, trying to find something else to keep going? It's just going to be, like, a couple series in there. Because, like, Undead Unluck and stuff is good, but it can't carry consistent numbers. Like Shonen Jump's like new manga series sales will drop, and they'll probably lose their top manga numbers, and it might go back to Weekly Shonen Magazine at that point. Lucas Gallant, no, I don't know what they're talking about. Drawing Vibrant's characters, I don't know what they're talking about. Whose rival Urza do you like more between Minerva Kagura, Kiria, and Kyoka? I always liked her whole thing with Kyoka. I wish her rivalry with Minerva went further. Urza's never really had like a rival character though, like in reality. Minerva was the closest thing I think she could have had, unless Kyoka comes back to do more. Like Kyoka, like in the last whole portion in Drasil, didn't really have much of an interaction with Urza. Most of her stuff was with Laxus. And more of her setup and her return is that she wants to see Laxus again. So, I don't know. That's also one of the reasons, again, I'm going to do a video soon on who my top picks are to fight Selene. Because I'm fairly certain that after, like, before we get to Selene, Natsu's group, like the whole main cast and the Diablos group, are going to come to terms with each other and, you know, kind of figure out the problem between them. Because we know from Suzaku is Diablos isn't, like, they're not villains. They're not evil. They're antagonists. They haven't done anything evil since their introduction. Like, they have been fighting enemies to them because they're also on a mission to take down the 5 dragon gods. And, well, a mission from their guild master. It's not the same. I don't think they're contracted with Eleftheria. But, I'm wondering about that, too. Like, I wonder if they're the 100th heroes, because I always wondered why Mishima had Natsu and Natsu in the main cast be the 99th heroes. I wonder if Diablos is the 100th, or they're just going after the dragon gods. But with them, they just need to kind of figure out, oh, it's just a misunderstanding between the two of them, because they think that Fairy Tail like has beef with them and getting in their way. And once they both kind of figure out that they don't actually have to fight each other, they can just be on this together. Especially against Selene, I think they're going to team up. There's still people. I think Selene is going to pull over to Elentier. I think Jalal's coming over. I'm going to do a video on that at some point and just talk about who I think is going to come. Who's going to be the team to fight Selene? Like Selene is so powerful. Mishima set up. She casually just messes with the moon. Like Selene is ridiculous. Like, and she is so absurdly... she's going to be such an absurd fight if she can just casually teleport people across dimensions. Let me see. Lucy doing nothing despite her talk last chapter. What are you talking about? She had all of her spirits out. Everybody there that's fighting, all of those spirits are because of Lucy. What do you mean? That's 100% something that she did. Natsu being outside by Tanuki. Yeah, it's called a gag moment. Like in reality, Natsu could have just put fire below his feet and just exploded right at him, or just outsped him. We've seen how fast he is. So it's called a gag. Deku and Asta greater than Eren. Yeah, I'm in a real big question about Eren in this last chapter. Ever heard of what manga? No, I have not. Checking. Oh, that's not at me. I am kind of disappointed Tabata. Yuno should be the one to protect the spade. Or no, why would Yuno? Yuno's already said that he is a member of the Clover Kingdom. He does not care about the whole Spade Prince background. He does not care. He said he is Yuno of the Clover Kingdom. Sci-fi equals fantasy over everything else. Yeah, my favorite is definitely fantasy, but I really like Mishima's sci-fi because it still has that sort of magical-esque feel to it. It's really cool. It's more of like magic science. We need more magic series, but not gag series. gag series like Mashal. No. Mashal is a good chunk away from full gag series. I can't tell if it's about the same as One Punch Man, where One Punch Man and the stuff with the other characters has more of like a grounded level within their, like, with their own series. Like, most of the characters in Mashal don't have that overpowered just one shot everything kind of like setup. And Mash has had some fights where he's had to put some effort in already. It's right now it's in a weird spot where it's in the in-between of becoming, like, if it's going to be grounded in a gag series or if it's going to be a serious series that has, like, a story that isn't just, you know, jokes. That's one of the reasons I can't really read that Roboco. Like, stuff that doesn't really have, like, a story and a plot. It's just a joke chapter after joke chapter. Like, that Mori King manga, I couldn't read that. I don't really like those that much. Now that Phantom Sphere ended, how can we live without our waifu Reda? Reda was like, she was like 10. I just thought she was a neat character. Jeez, villain. You changed your name. You are not Rax. I need that copyrighted. It's boring. No, it's not boring. You just have to understand Yuno's character is he keeps to himself a lot. And you have to pay attention to how he generally interacts with other characters. Because that's one of the things about Asta as well, is like Asta's thing is how he interacts with all the general characters around him. And that's how you just don't see it as much with Yuno. Because like when Yuno's interacting with Asta, that's when he's generally being, like, actually being himself. He's just messing with Asta all the time. It's the same way that Asta only, like, tries to brag and boast around Yuno. You only see that side of them around each other because they just have that kind of connection from their, just growing up. And that's one of Black Clover's best things is Yuno and Asta's, just general relationship as these two orphan brothers. I'm worried right now with it because, like, Boreas Yuno there's no way that he's on the level with Union Asta. And I don't like having them so far apart. Build King got bodied. I know, I'm sad. Asta clapping Shiki. Yeah, right. I'd say Asta can definitely beat Shiki right now. It really depends on this new Shiki and whatever the black sky is. Like, apparently it also translates to black heaven. Whatever that move that Xenolith taught him is, like, gonna be... It's gonna be the big thing for Shiki's placing in, like, new gen power levels. Let's see. Rax, if Mission News Core Family gets bigger, would you ever start reviewing it? I'm thinking about it. I like it. I don't really know, though, if I have anything I would really have anything to talk about reviewing it. Like, I don't know where the series is really going to go, and I don't really know what to talk about outside of current events. Like, even as I'm reading it now, I don't really have anything to theorize in the grand scope of the series. And that's one of that to me is one of the things that determines whether I would review something too. If I can't have if I can't build, like, a whole net of, like, ideas that I think might happen, kind of theorize and predict things in the future, I don't really know what to talk about other than just kind of give, like, a TLDR of what happened. Let's see. If Yuno doesn't become Spade or Wizard King Clover. Oh, wait. Doesn't become King of the Spade or Wizard King of the Clover. I'm hoping that Tabata is planning something big for Yuno. Yuno is not going to go to the Spade. He's determined to his promise with Asta, with his race with Asta. If he went to go be the Spade King, it would have to be Asta becoming Wizard King, so Yuno accepts defeat and then has something that he goes to do instead. That I can see happening. I don't think that otherwise he's going to go. He's not going to just say, all right, Asta, I surrender. You can be the Wizard King. That's not going to happen. Because we know that's one of his, like, big driving motivations for his whole character. No, it's not that I'm slow at reading. It's that I go on long tangents on things. And then I get super behind. If more devils come out of the gate, I wish beat one of them. He needs to beat Xenon first. Like he's got to beat Xenon before he goes on any highest order devils. Like Kandasha over Shueisha. I agree. If I was given Demon Slayer P, I could do the story. Yeah, it would be easy to continue. Super easy to continue. But they just didn't. It was weird. Got clapped harder than the kid in the author accusing of why yelling at Iron Nancy. Now being the next devil will be named Ball. I really want to know what's next. I want to see this next devil. I don't know. I was not a big fan of the fusion design. It's cool, but I was hoping for something more more nightmarish. Like imagine look at Yubel in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yubel started out as this weird demonic looking angel thing and then becomes just this big monster. I was hoping something like that. I still like the design, but I wasn't crazy about the design. I thought it was still pretty cool, but not what I expected. You should have died instead of Shinobu. Call me a simp, I don't care. Oh, no, I mean, that's fine. She got what she wanted though. She ended up taking down what's his name? Oh, was it Doma? I think Doma number 2. Yeah, that was the thing is, it was unfortunate she had to die, but it was part of her plan. Because, above all else, she wanted to kill him for what happened. Let's see. I'm a criminal mastermind. What did I do? Oh, are you talking about the villain one? Yeah, I do not endorse what he does. Let me scroll down. Yeah, imagine if Black Clover got axed before chapter 30. It's really unfortunate. If you read Toriko, you'll understand what I was hyped for about Build King is that dude can build a really interesting world and a really fun story. Read Toriko. Toriko is such a good read. It's so badass. The adventures are so cool. I wish he could have kept going, but unfortunately, the bigger scale of things that he wanted to do, he didn't get to do. It's really interesting. And the battles are really cool and really creative. And that was one of the things I was so hyped for Build King. Sucks, but can't do anything about it. My best case scenario is maybe one of the other magazines sees potential in it and decides to buy the rights to it. I don't know. That's just a best case scenario. I don't think it's gonna happen. One Piece to be axed after the second chapter. In today's times, probably. I legitimately don't think, in today's Shonen Jump, they would like One Piece. I don't think they would, just because, they don't like slow-paced stories. And, Oda likes to space things out, because he's trying to build a story. He's not trying to build something that just, you read over the course of a couple years. He built something for a long game. Shiki versus Zebra. I just looked at. I have my double screen. I just looked over at the chat. That's current. I see Shiki versus Zebra. Do you mean Shiki from Eden Zero, or do you mean Shiki from One Piece? Who's Shiki? Against Zebra? Zebra can just yell at him and kill him. He's his voice missile. He kills him. Zebra is crazy. Dude, when Zebra first showed up at the beginning of the series, he was pulling these up gigantic monsters with each limb, and then yelled, and it created an explosion that covered most of the horizon. He is extremely powerful. And then that's just beginning Zebra. Zebra was like a menace and a good note in society at the same time. He's such an interesting character. I really wish that he got more development, but he was really cool. Let's see. Noct number 4, Libe at 5. I was surprised Libe was up so high. I expected that with Noct, like Noct getting his scenes in the anime and then getting his backstory chapters. People have really liked Noct, and Noct's really cool. I just like the concept of Noct, of him trying to force people to get stronger, of people that have like a really high potential. All for the mission. He's really cool. I like him, and I like his backstory. Dude, Iron Nancy Build King was cool, man. How did you not like enjoy it? The main character is this like Buddhist. He had this weird like adventure Buddhist style of building peace through like domination of force against bad things. Like that was this whole thing about building peace when he was fighting like the troll and like fighting Haka and stuff. Is he was going to defeat them and stop the violence and like and the chaos. And at the same time, he's this nice, goofy dude that was going to go on these large-scale construction adventures. It had so much potential. And the whole Vigor power source was so cool. I really wish that it got to keep going. Oh, $14. $15 super chat from Robin McClendon. Sup, Brax is too bad, but Build King and Phantom Seer. Wait, hang on.
Shit. You just busted a nut.
Gotta wait for this to play. Here we go. Where do you see Asta and Yuno Noel after this arc, along with Dante? How do you feel about losing this war, potentially betrayed by Lucifaro? I'm really hoping that the whole Lucifaro betraying Dante thing doesn't happen. I don't want Dante to get thrown away, kind of like that, like just some just betrayal, because if Lucifaro decides to betray Dante, then Dante's pretty much just going to die. I think that just leads him directly into a he's going to die scenario. And I don't want that to happen to Dante. I'll be really bummed out about that. They could lose, but the thing is, if they lose, how are they ever going to, like, how are they going to live if Lucifaro gets out? What I think is going to happen, I think they're going to get most of the gates open, and then they're going to stop it. But some, like, say, like, one of the high-level devils gets away, or maybe a few of them, and they go and find whatever creates the gateway. Like, with Morris, the thing about Morris is he could learn, like, something in the Heart Queen's wisdom that maybe goes back to whatever created the gateway between the human world and the underworld, and figure out a way to open it that way. Or like there's a huge possibility of large world scale events that the wars Morris could do if they get away and go and continue somewhere else out in, you know, the grand scheme of the Black Clover world. But who knows exactly what Tabata's gonna do, because if he ends like Lucifaro here, then I don't know what could go beyond it. We don't have anything beyond the continent in knowledge, but we know that if Lucifaro gets out, he's you know, the world's done. So apparently he's the top. I don't know, or the other top guys as well. Was it Lucifuge or whatever? But yeah, I'm pretty sure Xenon's is the other high level one, because he did say Space Devil. Let me keep going with the chat. Let me see. Demon Slayer should have went like solo level with all the fighters from different countries, but was all the same goal. Yeah, you could have done that too. Like, I don't know why they didn't. Like, they could have kept going. Like, it easily could have kept going. Leo as a character rival is better than Yuno. I don't know about that. The thing, Yuno and Asta have the whole thing where they just completely have a personality break than normal when they're around each other. Asta starts getting, like, boasting and trying to and trying to be like a little bit prideful when he's usually super humble, and then is being like petty and being a jerk, and like their dynamic is really good. That's one of the best parts about like Asta and in the series. Rumor has it that Muzan is still looking for blue lilies. Muzan is an unfortunate dude. I don't like that Demon Slayer had ripped off JoJo. I mean yeah, no. I mean, she said she was inspired by JoJo a lot, but I mean, like, I think Muzan definitely doesn't live up to Dio. This is a masterpiece, but Yoichi backstory. That too. Like, Kokushibo and Yoichi had the best backstory in the series, and it just didn't go anywhere after that. Let's see. Just talking about Demon Slayer a bit. I'm just scrolling. Yeah, Godzilla vs. King Kong was a sick movie. At least Blackbeard isn't a simp. Blackbeard's a big goofball. He like every hit you hit him, you easily can hit him, and like he just takes extra pain. So every time you hit this dude, he's gonna be rolling around on the floor. Actually, more interested to learn more about Lucifer or Ziggy. I want to know more about Ziggy. Ziggy is interesting as hell. He's like if Darth Vader fused with Skynet. He's gonna be such a cool character. I really have faith in Mishima when it comes to Ziggy. Let's see. How's it going, Gene? I hope Gene's still in the chat. I finally got down to where his comment is. How's it going, Gene? What are you doing, dude? Actually, think Safaro betrays Dante. I really don't want him to betray Dante. Like, it will make me very sad. Because I want to see Dante have, like, a bigger scale in the story. I like his character as this crazy madman. He's this big gravity manipulating psychopath king, and like I'm gonna be so sad if he gets betrayed before we get to see his character go in larger scale. Because that'd be like, why even upgrade his regeneration if we're not gonna see him like do something crazy? Making me makes drink lukewarm water and slightly cooler lukewarm water. What is that? What are you talking about? Dante will always be a character that I will gist for losing to Asta and Yami. No, man, he's cool. I really want to see more from him. Nah, best mythical fruit is Marco. Marco's fruit is good, but I don't know if it'd be better than the dragon. Like, Kaido has all those different elemental breaths, and he's got multiple elements he can use. Like, so Marco's just a big flesh dude. He's just a big meat shield. He regenerates a lot. Cool. And kind of gains like the flight, durability, like and being a dragon, just physical strength. He's gonna be way stronger. You're gonna get so much better of an overall stat boost instead of abilities. You think Eden Zero's war would be big, if not bigger, than My Hero Black Clover Jujutsu Kaisen's war? I don't know if it'll be as big story-wise as Jujutsu Kaisen's or Black Clover's. It could be a larger scale war, but I don't know if it's going to be as large scale story impacting. Because like with Black Clover's, a lot of story pieces all just connected into what was essentially set up for like the last couple arcs. And then with Jujutsu Kaisen, that led into everything that's like going into their end game. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that really just depends on like how long this is going to be and where this is going to really set in the large scale that Mishima has planned. Because they're going to have to go to obviously to other cosmoses after this. And this is only the second cosmos, so this just doesn't feel as It doesn't feel as like eventful, I think, in the larger scale. I think that'll be maybe like an arc or two away to kind of compare where it is in their series. But Mishima could surprise me. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening that it's cool, but like, I don't have as much investment right now, like going into that arc as I did as those other arcs, and what they gave off. But we'll see what Mishima does. Snorlock conquers hockey. Yeah, that too. That was. I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know. I'm not that surprised, but like, there's so many conquers hockey people now. I thought it's supposed to. Isn't it supposed to be rare? Like, why is there so many people now with conquers hockey? Now the Godslayers are top 2 wife materials. Godslayers are an unfortunate bunch. They're Mishima's punching bag. Sanji's still looking for his place in the fight. Sanji is been in a bad downward spiral. I should just pick up my story. Send it into him. Mashal gonna carry jump with one finger. Mashal's longevity is gonna entirely determine on if it's a gag series or if it's just more like One Punch Man, where it's a serious series and the main character is a little bit comedic. Because if it's just gags, I don't know how long it can go for. But I think it's going to be more like One Punch Man, where MASH is really strong. But I don't think MASH is going to be as dominating strong as Saitama is. Because Saitama is like one of the strongest in the world. We just haven't seen him go all out yet. Whereas I think MASH is just really high for his age. And there's going to be characters above him for a while, like in the grand scheme of things. Let's see, more Devil Slayers, at least 2 have like 5 different types of Dragon Slayers. We do need more Devil Slayers. Like, I wish Mishima would have like a Devil Slayer, a Demon, like Dragon Slayer and Diablos or something. Do something with a Devil Slayer. Give us another God Slayer. I know right now, like, Dragon Slayers are very important in the story with the old dragon gods, but like maybe in a spinoff, I still really wish you would do like maybe a Strauss sibling spinoff and then have the main bad guy be a Devil Slayer after Mira Jane. He could easily do that story out like something like that, and then like maybe the guys from the dude is from wherever the Devil Slayers come from, like then wherever Silver learned to be a Devil Slayer. Who knows? I don't know what Mishima, like, whatever will ever do with it. It's weird because we don't need any other Devil Slayers, because the only people that they're going to have as devils now that are probably going to be a problem are potentially people like Mira Jane who are using devil magic, but the Galuna Island people aren't causing any troubles. Maybe somebody can go after Mary Jane, but I don't know, and it could be some white. What was the Zentopia church type thing, or is it some weird ideology? I don't know. Whatever Mishima has planned, but I don't really know why anyone would need to be a Devil Slayer otherwise in the series, because all of the Aetherius are dead. So unless somebody else is using living magic and like copying Zeref and making their own Aetherius, there's not really going to be that many devils that are a problem. Torture Urzas, whatever, Victor members have done the worst. None of the main Diablos. Well, yeah, but to be fair, Fairy Tail got in their way. So if from their point of view, these were enemies to them, Kyoka doing what she did is just because Kyoka is a weirdo. Like, they even said, like, Scully on a Mad Mole are even like, what are you doing? Both of them were like questioning Kyoka on what she was doing. That's why it was good that Kyoka got humbled. Kyoka will stop being such a weirdo, hopefully, after Laxus beats her ass 1 or 2 more times. It's gonna ignore the fact that Lucy had orders. Yeah, Lucy had all of her keys out during that fight. So And she opened up that. She also opened up by using her whole freaking Leon Radiant spell or whatever, and it just zapped a bunch of the yokai in the first place, while all of her spirits were out. She's my favorite member, one of my favorite members of the team. I don't get why people have such a big problem with her as a character. I don't know. It's really strange. Like I don't know how people could ever say that like Lucy doesn't have like doesn't do much in the story, but there's so many situations that if Lucy wasn't involved, people would have died. Like imagine if the Celestial Spirit King was never summoned, and everybody just stays in the Pluto's Grim. Bam, nobody ever gets out. The face goes off and all of the humans die, and then the only person that gets brought back would probably then be Natsu as E&D. Let's see. Let's see. Not up to me. There's just why people just get mad at the villain. One of these days he's gonna change his name. Selene is enjoyable for sure. I really like Selene, and I've been very happy at how involved she's been in this series. She's been around a lot. She's done a lot of stuff. I really can't wait to see how far Mishima takes her. I'm sad because like I know eventually she's probably gonna die. She's probably gonna have to get killed because she's damn insane. I think Natsu and them are gonna decide to kill her. So I'm really hoping Mishima does a lot with her until then. I really am hoping for a flashback of whatever they were running from Acnologia. That was one of the things I really was sad not getting from Merciful Bureau Alderaan. Alderaan went back to go and fight Acnologia 100 years after initially running from him. And we didn't get to see it in a flashback. I really wanted to see that. So I'm hoping with Selene or Ignia we get to see one of them like think back to when Acnologia attacked and just seeing it from their perspective. I just want a flashback. So and Selene took over an entire dimension. Like I need to see stuff from Selene. I don't know how you think she's the most boring dragon, Nancy. She is really cool. And on top of that, her whole like psychopathic drive to just keep herself entertained while being this tyrannically high level character in the series is really cool. And that's her general personality. I really like Selene, and she's cool. I like how, also how she just likes to set a scene as well. She's such a fun character. I'm a big fan. I like Selene. I'm hoping that I'm really hoping she somehow makes it into another arc. I don't know. I really want to know how far Mishima's going to take her. I'm hoping this is the longest arc, to be perfectly honest, at least for 100 Years Quest. The Ignia stuff, though, I have super high expectations for. I'm gonna be mad if the stuff with Ignia isn't really good. Out of the entirety of 100 Years Quest, that is the stuff I think Mishima needs to do really well. The fact he has to do with frickin' Ignia. I need that. I need everything around that part to be pristine. There's a theory of Levi sacrificing himself to save Asta. I don't want that to happen. No, thank you. Rax with Speed Equal, Drac and Joe versus Merleona, who wins. Drac and Joe and Speed Equal and Merleona. Drac and Joe is going to kill her. Merleona can fight him. Drac and Joe has to touch her, and he wins. He touches her and turns her to stone. Drac and Joe, like, so Speed Equal is dangerous. Because he scales pretty decent. Like, Merleona can take him down. Like, Merleona has to be... Merleona went all out, I think, at the very start. She can take down Drac and Joe. But, like, the hard thing about, like, gauging Drac and Joe is we didn't actually see Drac and Joe, like, in his prime. We know that when Shiki beat him, he was nerfed because they destroyed the machine that like balanced his body. He turned into that giant monster because they destroyed it. He was way weaker. We got that like confirmed by Laguna. So we don't know exactly how powerful he was in scale. We need to see one of the Galactica or one of the other or one of the Interstellar go all out, and then gauge that for Draken Joe. Because if Draken Joe is broken, he just needs larger general stats. Durability being a big thing he needs. And then he'll be a monster. He's a damn alchemist. And he can affect just ether in general. So like that speed energy equalize, he would be able to affect just raw mana in the idea of for Black Clover. Alderaan is cool because of his sheer size and power. What we saw with him was not boring at all. Alderaan is really cool. The thing about Alderaan, though, I really wanted to see, and I'm hoping we get maybe later somehow, is a flashback of when he went to go fight Acnologia. Because the whole thing is, Acnologia went on his big genocidal campaign, you know, give the extra numbers since the initial, the chunks like the 7-year time skip and all the other year time skips, but 400 plus years is when he started. Alderaan, who would have ran away from him 300 years prior to the current story, going back to fight him, means that he between Acnologia's initial onslaught to when Alderaan went to go fight him, he had already ran and hid from him for 100 years, and I wanted to see him gain the confidence to go and try and fight Acnologia, and then get beat up so bad he has to go and rest for 300 years. And then just grows gigantic. His cheating way of becoming more powerful. I really wanted to see his flashback in that, because he was really interesting. Because the thing about Alderaan is all of the dragon gods in their humanoid form is something that they themselves are choosing to look like. Their general designs are something they themselves pick. Their dragon forms are what they actually look like. Selene, in her humanoid form, decides to take the form of this giant woman. She's like 7+ feet tall. She's this 7+ gigantic woman who just towers over people. And on top of being humongous, her magic amount is overwhelming. Ferris was terrified of just looking and sensing how much magic that Selene had. And on top of that, she's a damn dragon. On top of everything else, she's a fucking dimensional crossing dragon. So, oh man, like Selene is gonna be so crazy, but like, I need to see Alderaan right now. I really need a flashback at some point of him just going to fight Acnologia. But him in his form, he has his crown, and he has this huge ego about him. So the fact that he goes back to fight Acnologia tells you that he probably had some larger standing as a dragon back when dragons ruled the world. His crown, he clearly thinks of himself as some kind of king. I would have loved to see him decide to go back to fight Acnologia and then get his ass completely kicked by this. Because Acnologia, the thing that they showed in the anime, when he was fighting dragons, like that backstory the anime put in, Acnologia was breaking their skulls in half. He was literally ripping them in half and killing them. He met that one dragon up in a cave, the one that looked like Falkor from Neverending Story, some weird gremlin. And immediately after he talked to him, he just ripped open his chest and killed him. And then he was like, he literally splits one skull in half. Killing it. Like, he was brutal. Like, he instantly kills God Serena. Acnologia was like murdering these dragons. He hated them. And Alderaan just got destroyed. And then had to go sleep for 300 years. And then waited at any point before Acnologia was gone before coming back. Like, Selene knew that, when to let him out. Like, Acnologia's gone, go for it. Alderaan can go back and start rampaging. Rex already admit Asta can beat Natsu. Asta cannot beat Natsu. Asta versus Natsu would go quick. Natsu would just grab his sword or dodge it and then just smack Asta right in the face and just destroy him. He would hit him with so much more magic than he's ever had before. Because Asta can't just nullify magic instantly. It's a potency thing. And he has not gone anywhere close to Natsu. Natsu will dominate him. Because one of the things as well about Natsu versus Asta is Asta has trouble against melee, like combat wizards. He does not have a lot of experience against combat wizards. And people who just have more physical strength within him is a weakness he canonically has. Look at the Vetto fight. Look at Dante. Like, look at like back when Marileona just threw him when he first went into black form. It was nothing because he's just so much physically. She was so much physically stronger than him. When Asta's difference in physical strength is a known thing that is bad for him to run into as just his general way that he is as a character. Natsu would demolish him. It would be embarrassing. Natsu has so much experience with people fighting with weapons too. You have a dude who barely has experience fighting combat wizards versus a guy who has tons of experience fighting weapon wielding wizards and anti-magic. Like, Natsu is going to be fine. And he has more than a decade of combat experience in general. Because we know that since Natsu joined the guild, he's been fighting people and going on combat-based quests on a regular basis. And then just everything since the series started. Like, Natsu would body everybody in Blacklore. Like, he has no real threats in there either. Especially after that Alderaan fight. Did you read the Alderaan fight, Juice? Like, Natsu's... When he used Purgatory Dragonfire, that thing was fucking huge. Of internal damage. He hit Alderaan so bad that there's so much heat that, like, he had a rocket engine coming out of his back. I just came for an entire video and came back. Oh, that's good. What video did you watch? Shiki, Shiki is big, just like Pino said. Shiki is pretty powerful right now. I want to see where he goes. Think the Dark Triad are capable of Devil Fusion as well? I don't think so. I don't know how that would work. Because we don't know if, like, other devils can fuse. Because, like, the thing right now with these two is they were built on the whole, like, having a mirrored design thing. So it's like, that was why people thought they can fuse. I don't know if devils fusing is a normal thing. Toriko anime shit. Yeah, Toriko's anime was bad. They censored too much stuff and there's too much filler. Even modern recommendations after Billiken. Billiken was good. You don't have to take an identity. Billiken was good. You just unfortunately didn't get very far. Yeah, Shiki versus Zebra. Zebra would dominate Shiki. Let me get more down. Starting to act, Logia ate the ravines of time and went to another dimension. Do you think he had the power to find Selene in her otherworldly killer? Oh, Actinologia, the space between time Actinologia and Selene. Selene is fucked. She'd be fucked. He would immediately tear through everything she did. Actinologia literally ripped through space-time and reality like glass with his bare hands and consumed a dimension that doesn't exist, where the concept of time is erasing things from existence. Ate it, and then gained time-space magic and created matter. Actinologia, after eating the space between time, was a threat to reality. Like, he even said this thing is he was going to surpass the limits, the limitations of time and space. Actinologia was crazy. Let's see. You know, Animus from Dragon Christ survived Actinologia. 2, Alderaan, that's so impressive too. Yeah, but the only reason that Animus survived is Animus went inside of Sonya. That's the only reason he survived. Whereas Alderaan went to go and figured out a way to kind of cheat and get stronger by having people rest on him and absorbing power from them. But he had to do that over, over 300 years to accomplish. Acting like you let so many people live, but yet one-shot God Serena. So the reason he let he wasn't killing the Dragon Slayers while he was fighting them is he wanted to use them in his dimension to stabilize it. That's why he wanted to put them in those space-time crystals. I don't know if they would still be lacrima, just because who knows what that would be made out of. Like, that's just matter he made. But inside the space between time, whereas he just wanted to kill God Serena. He just wanted to kill him. He had no plan for him at the time other than die. Because think about the other times Acton Logia shows up places. Sirius Island, he just decided to nuke the place. You look at him in Tartaros. He was going to just roar and take out the place, but then Igneel showed up. Oh yeah. Let's see. Why Acton Logia only stayed in Ishgal. He was exploring. When we saw Zareth at the end of Dragoncry, I don't think that he was in Ishgal. I really don't. My personal belief is that Acton Logia was looking for the dragon gods, but didn't know where they were. Because you have to keep in mind also the Fairy Tail planet is huge. And when he was just wandering around, he was doing it like a normal person. He wasn't just like free flying the entire planet. Celine's up for entertainment will probably be her downfall, since most of antagonists like to hesitate just like they think they the shit. I think Celine would do that times 10. The thing about Celine though, she has the power to back it up absurdly. She's a dragon god. She is so absurdly powerful. Because they only beat Mersephobia because Mersephobia, because of Ignis showing up and giving Natsu a boost. They beat Alderaan because of how Alderaan mechanically was that powerful. You have to take down his god seeds, and then he's on a timer before he just resurrects them and gets back to his full power. But you also have to take on the god seed, and you have to fight Alderaan's full body. And if he wants, he can just use Thicket of Arms and then just rain these absurdly powerful wood spikes at you at high speeds over the course of his whole body, as well as he can shoot mountain-sized ones. How strong should the Diablos? Depends on which ones. We know that Kyria, like people Kyria's level aren't able to beat like Laxus. We know how strong Laxus is. Laxus is like upper Spriggan. My guess is like people like Kyria, they're kind of lower Spriggan. And then you have Suzaku. I believe Suzaku's going to be around the same level as Laxus. It's really going to depend on these bigger people and where Scoleon sits. Because Scoleon is definitely stronger than Kyria. So I don't know where he's going to place in the grand scheme of things, but we know that Suzaku is stronger than Scoleon, at least currently. So who knows how that's going to go. I'm hoping Scoleon also has like a more lasting role in the 100 Years Quest. I really like his design. He's cool in general. I'm hoping his character plays out more. I mean, the fact he wears a mask gives him a little bit of mystery. That, we never... That I always wish that Mishima didn't do to a degree with Mistogun. I like the Edalus twist, but at the same time, I always liked that there was a member of Fairy Tail that just was shrouded in, mystery. Like, Mistogun scenes are really cool at the start. But we have that kind of with Scoleoning. So I'm wondering, what if there's anything beyond his character right now? Maybe the reason that he wears the mask. Who knows? There's also my hope that they become just longer lasting characters in general. Because I like the Diablos trio. Especially if Kyria can get humbled and stop being so weird BDSM. And, she can stay. But Mad Mole and Scoleon I really like. And Nimaru was cool. I really want to know what's up with his character if he's gonna come back. He can be like Fairy Tail's Gollum, and he can just kind of follow them around. Let me see the comments. Which of 8 kings from Toriko could kill the chronophage since it eats time? The only one that can do anything to a chronophage is Moon. But I don't think Moon could. Moon's too small. I don't think Moon could fight back against a chronophage fast enough. A chronophage is a giant time being. It's a giant, like a chronophage is literally a giant planet-sized time monster. Also, just really quick, we've been going for a little under 2 hours. I got 36 people in here. I really appreciate if you guys would like the stream. Got 22 likes, 1 dislike. Damn you, whoever disliked. But if you disliked it, that's okay. It's probably Iron Nancy. He's the only one that would antagonize me like this. But I appreciate everyone that's in here, and we're gonna keep going. I'm enjoying the chat. I don't know if I think I'm caught up. Yeah, Rax, how far does space between Time, Acnologia, and Toriko? I mean, his whole thing is like Acnologia could kill anybody in there, but I don't know how much he can get with, like, how far he can get with his durability in Toriko. Because the thing about Toriko is they have a lot of like really crazy just general raw power levels, but Acnologia is so busted. I think Acnologia can clear, to be perfectly honest, actually. Because the thing about Acnologia is, his raw melee attacks are going to overwhelm them. And then eventually he's just going to erase reality. He's just going to nuke. So yeah, I'm just going to go with Acnologia. I think that the largest scale that kind of we saw in the last chapter, could be beyond Acnologia, but technically Acnologia eventually would just break reality and destroy them. Jiren's power-ups kills everybody in the verse. Wait, what? Jiren's lame as hell. I was sad about Jiren. He's boring. I'm hoping, I've got high hopes for this granola guy. He seems cool. Moro, I was kind of about Moro, but I like this granola dude. I think he's really interesting. And I like that he ties into old stuff in Dragon Ball that has current events for, new events unfolding because of old events, like, that are, like, core to the story, the stuff with Frieza and stuff. I'm really hoping that this current arc plays out better than the last arc, because it has a lot of just general grand scheme of series value to it that I like. You know how fast fuel power Alderaan was when he blitzed Natsu at the full start. How fast Natsu compared to Bleach God Tears? Well, Natsu was to use Dragon Force at the time. That was Natsu in base. Natsu and Dragon Force is like a multiplier of like 300. And Natsu since Grand Magic Games has been able to dodge a Dragon Light. Like, Natsu's fine. The thing about like fighting Bleach characters is Bleach characters can have some really dangerous hacks, but other than that, like, Natsu should be able to burn through most of their stuff with energy equalized. And he's so much faster than pretty much all of them. He's just going to completely demolish. It's really going to depend on where Natsu is also endgame. Because he's set up right now to being so broken. Because like his Aetherius Dragon Force that he used against Mercephobia, like, it was the only other time that his fire has burned his arm. So that fire was as hot as his Savage Dragon Fire when he beat Fairy Heart Zeref. So his arms were covered in that conceptual time-burning fire. And then he has a multiplier of at least double-digit millions because of the fact that what we got on stats for Alderaan, who's equal to Mercephobia, that we know is confirmed by Selene. Like, Natsu's going to be so crazy by the end of 100 Years Quest. It's going to be insane. Wendy OD. Wendy's like the best support character. She's always just getting so much better on all ends of her kit. Abel and Abyss could be. I don't know who Abel and Abyss are. What is that from? I'd say I feel Kyria will be the next to use or Dragon Force. Kyria? Yeah. I don't know. It really depends on like how far her stuff with Lax is gonna get. Cause it like we know that 5th gen, if they use their Dragon Force, like how are they gonna come back? They might just, you know, become mindless forever. We don't know exactly the large scale of like if they ever can become conscious again. And become kind of like Irene or LF Sariak and Logan, be able to switch in between.
Oh, shit. You just busted a nut.
Oh, I didn't. So there we go. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Robin McClellan and Rax. Where would you put Space Between Time Act Logan against and Fairy Heart, Zeref, and Dragon Ball Super? Well, the thing is, like, they're so broken. Zeref against them, he can just stop time and take their power. And Zeref has absorbed an infinite power source. So, I'm trying to think of, like, really who can do anything to Zeref. The thing about Dragon Ball is, like, they just have big power levels. They, like, don't have a lot of hacks on their big characters. And acting like he's just so broken when it comes to his his reality breaking attacks are insane. I really want to see their big people because we know that like why like I probably think that in comparison of like hacks versus raw power. Actually I need a question. Can what's this thing? Can Beerus react with the time stop? Is that a thing? So I would wonder what exactly, like, if Zeref could just stop time and, like, to touch him and take his powers. Because if he can absorb an infinite power source, why couldn't, like, should be able to absorb, he should be able to steal abilities from anybody, essentially. Anybody that's, like, a power level-based, ability. Actually, it's hard to think about, just from, like, the sheer gap of, like, one is just so power level heavy, where one is just really hacks heavy. And hacks is generally like a trump card. Oh, Kenmano, thank you for the $20 super chat. I'm hoping to start my own channel soon. What mic do you recommend I get? It really depends on your budget. You can easily just start with something regular, like I'm trying to think of, like, I think there's like the regular Blue Yetis. Is that one pretty fairly cheap priced? I think it's like $60. I don't really know. You could just use a headset.
Just busted a nut.
Thank you for the $20 though. I don't really know whatever your preference is, because I used to use a headset, but I just wanted to get one, just get a mic, because I didn't really like having the headset mic setup. I don't know what it was, so I just got a mic with an arm. It really depends on what your preference is. Thank you though for the $20. I appreciate it. Changed my opinion on Reset My Hero opening season 5. Still like the others. I didn't really like the new My Hero one. Which arc did Natsu get stronger than Urza Laxus without Dragon Force? Without Dragon Force? I don't think he could beat either of them without Dragon Force. Or do you mean Laxus without Dragon Force? Just general Laxus? Natsu got... It was clear that Natsu was stronger than Urza in Alvarez. When Alvarez started, when Urza saw Natsu go up and beat Ikusa Tsunaki. He's stronger than Laxus now because he has Dragon Force, and there's no way that Laxus can fight Dragon Force Natsu after the Alderaan fight. There's no way. There's no way. Laxus wouldn't have done that. Could Lucy defeat Wendy? I don't think so. Because I think Wendy can cancel Stardress Mix. Wendy is just like a tough fight in general because of how she has support that also works offensively. Wendy being able to cancel status buffs. Wendy being able to cancel stat buffs. Wendy's able to undo certain forms with separation and status effect abilities. Wendy is a really hard fight. Like in reality, like when you think about it, like Wendy has so many useful support abilities while being able to fight herself. She is just a difficult person to have to deal with. And she has, like, the whole thing where she's able to take inspiration from characters around her to like, evolve her move kit. Like, Wendy's a fast learner, too. And she has Irene in her head. Like, she is dangerous right now. Like, Wendy legitimately is set up to be a monster. It's really funny, like, what Mishima has done here with Irene. Because with, like, Irene, she has the knowledge pool, like, to give Wendy's potential a crazy, like, a crazy future. And especially if when Irene gets her body, like, if she sticks around, like, what exactly Irene's future is going to be as well. Is she going to hang out with Wendy? Hang on, where was that comment? I'm trying to get caught up. Lucy can't beat Wendy. I don't think she can beat Wendy. Wendy is a hard fight. Now you're trash when Minita is doing something in the opening than you. Minita, I wish that his character was a little bit less comedic, where he was silly, but he could do something important. He doesn't really do anything that makes me have any confidence as him as a serious hero. Which Fairy Tail Battle has the best animation in the anime? Could you give me top 3? I really probably like the Sting and Rogue fight, the fight with Zero, the fight against the fight against Hades, Tartaros. Like, there's a bunch of Tartaros fights that look really good. Alderaan has too much hacks. Yeah, the thing is, fighting Alderaan 1v1 is a bitch, because you also have to fight all the God Seeds because they're part of his body. They're not technically separate characters. They are components of Alderaan. So you have to fight Gears, who can slowly stop time in your mind and make you forget how to use your abilities. You have Doom, who can just shoot out spores that'll cover you and paralyze you with a 5-minute fate-manipulating auto-death. You have Metro, who just summons these giant Spriggan durability level golems. You have Wolfen, who can just make multiple copies of whoever you view as the strongest person in your mind. Like, fighting, and then you have Alderaan's sheer giant size and power. And if he wants to, he'll just use Thicket of Arms. And he'll just shoot spikes from the mass of his whole body at you. Like, Alderaan 1v1 would suck. Like, he would just dominate so many people with all these things combined. How fast is Prime God Seed Alderaan? I mean, I would assume, like, him regular, he should be as fast as Actinologia, so he's blitzing Spriggan. And Spriggan should all be, like, faster than light characters. Just based off of, like, Grand Magic Games being Natsu peaking into, like, Wizard Saint levels. Because we still know that Laxus was above Natsu at the time. Laxus was above people like, Sting and Rogue, Laxus, you know, and all these characters, you know, and so was Jura. And then we see Gildarts back when Gray was a kid. Gildarts casually outspeeds Light. Like, no problem. Let's see. Mafuba, Hakai, Hit Time Stop, Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct's dangerous, but the thing about, like, hacks is, if you can't deal with something like Time Stop, what the fuck do you do if somebody can just stop time? Like, power levels become irrelevant at that point if somebody can stop time, and then what can they do to you with Time Stop? If they have a way to deal with you. Especially someone like Zeref, who can just touch you and steal your powers. And then it's like, what's his absorption level? He stole Fairy Heart. How much is Fairy Heart? Fairy Heart is infinite. So he can steal an infinite amount of energy. He's so busted. Goku can move in Time Stop. No, his thing is a power level based Time Stop. His is a pocket Time Stop. It's not full Time Stop. Zeref's and Damaria's is a full Time Stop. They aren't affecting a person or an area. They are stopping the concept of time itself. The flow of time has stopped. Yeah, Beerus. I mean, Beerus has hacks, but can he deal with Time Stop? Full Time Stop. Doesn't Whis reverse time at one point? That's the thing I'm talking about. Is like Dragon Ball's beyond Beerus tier is what I really want to know. Because the Gods of Destruction, they aren't as hacked as and dangerous as I thought they'd be. Because they're just raw power and then Hakai. Whereas, like, the Angels seem to be, like, where the real big power is. Like, Whis is clearly way stronger than Beerus. Those are the guys that are where Dragon Ball's big power levels, I think, set. Sting Rogonauts versus Margear. I love that fight. Like, Margear was so cool when he's, like, sitting in his throne, beating their asses. The difference between Damar having time powers and the God of Time is there become the God of Time and actually become... Wait, what are you talking about? What's the difference? Well, Demaria had Kronos' soul and can stop time. Zeref transcended time by gaining full control over it. Aknologia ate time. He consumed it and then integrated it into his being. You have time just as three different styles of essential implementation. But Aknologia's thing was he was going beyond time. Zeref took control of time, and Kronos was essentially just the god of time. Kronos was not doing his job though, and time was getting fucked up. Gray and Natsu versus Mars. Oh no, you said Mars here. I assume you meant Margear. I was gonna say Mars. Mars would get fucked up, but no, Margear. The Margear fight was great. Goku can move and no, Goku can move in a pocket stop time based on a power level sense, not on a actual time stopping sense. Oh, I already read that. Natsu versus Meliodas. Meliodas gets his ass kicked. One, revenge. What is it? What is this? Full counter doesn't work. Full counter does not affect Natsu. Doubling back Natsu's fire and throwing it at him does nothing. That's been confirmed since the start of the series. Natsu can burn all of Meliodas' magic. Natsu has fought bigger opponents. Natsu has done more in general in base than Meliodas has done in like his total stats. And Natsu has Dragon Force. And way better hacks. Natsu would steamroll Meliodas. Use the Apple mic. It's what Rax uses. I don't use an Apple mic. The Kai surpasses life and death and erases you from all possible. Yeah, it's super hacks, but what can you do if somebody can just stop time and you have no counter to that? It's a good hacks, but it has to hit you. If you have a way to prevent them from hitting you with it, and then a way to just deal with them through a different hacks, that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to a lot of the time when it comes to big hacks people. Who's more hacks than the other hacks person? And Fairy Heart Zeref is just so fucking hacks. Like, he has all these black magics mastered. He can seal concepts because he was closing and holding the space between time closed over Anna. So he was manipulating a concept of reality and holding it closed, and then took control of it. He took control of something beyond the concept of time, a hole in the universe, with power beyond human imagination, as he said. After controlling infinity. And then he can also freaking stop time, steal other people's powers. He's broken. But like, the big people like Gods of Destruction are just really fast, raw, powerful, and then they have the Kai hack. The Kai hacks is really good, but if you can prevent them from using it on you, then GG. Honestly, how did Irene know about spiritual arts, and how does she know it? I mean, she's smart. Like, she was a master enchantress, and she knew about Elentier. Doesn't mean she doesn't have to have gone there to know about it. She's a dragon. Maybe she knew Selene at some point. She was also a dragon queen. With the spiritual arts, though, she said that the spiritual arts are a thing, but in Elentier, it's evolved way higher, and this is where the superior is. Gildart's outsped taking care of his daughter, bro. He is too OP. He is. Gildart's didn't know though. We know that if he did, he would have been around more. Yuki outspeed Natsu. That's a gag feed. I already said this. Honestly, Damari should have been killed Alvarez with the God tier fight because she's too OP to stay alive. Yeah, but I like the whole thing where she's now just being a happy farmer. I'm happy that she's just living a nice life and not being a crazy dominatrix on the battlefield who just likes to torment people weaker than her. Lyrax pronounces Whis, makes me think he's playing this. No, Whis! Big Mom gets blitzed, so how many times it gets knocked off the cliff like Oda hates her. Yeah, Big Mom is like a big joke. Yeah, she's a big meme, that's what we call her. She's unfortunately somehow still apparently a big character. Who's a better character? That's where Zeref terms writing. Oh, I mean, in terms of writing, Zeref, but Natsu's story isn't over. Natsu's story's still going. That's why I said that Ignia's point in the story is really big. Like, Ignia's being connected to Igniel, and obviously now connected to Natsu, is a really high potential for both their characters. True Natsu, because he can burn time. Yes, Natsu's Savage Dragonfire was busted. Jiren was state of view of time itself when he fought. Yeah, but Jiren surpassed them. Jiren was stronger than them. But I'm talking about, like, Gods of Destruction level people are not as impressive as I wish they were. But Jiren as well. Like, Jiren is, like, he's just brute force. If you can get past that, like, I don't really know what he does. He just wasn't as much as I would have liked him to be. I wish he was way more powerful. I don't like that Dragon Ball doesn't have a lot of crazy hacks for these characters. That then they're supposed to be god tier. They're just raw power. Is Kagura stronger than Sting? No. She's definitely not stronger than Sting and Rogue. She's not stronger than Minerva. And I don't know. No, I don't think she's stronger than Jura either. Kyria versus Hollybell. Kyria can just hypnotize her right from the start. And Kyria scales way higher. Could Alderaan tank Yamamoto's Bankai? Yes. He would slash him and it would do some damage, but it's small to him. He would literally yell and kill Yamamoto. When Alderaan yelled, he cleared out the sky for like thousands of miles. Kagura is weaker than probably all of them. I don't even think she's stronger than Jura. Minerva seems stronger than Kagura. She's looked way faster than her. She looked like she was able to just react in general, plan, and had a better move set than what Kagura had. Because Kagura has her sword, she has arch enemy, she has like sword skills and her gravity manipulation. But Minerva has like really high teleportation spatial manipulation. And she can manipulate pockets in her space to do different effects. And she has she can summon one of the 18 battle gods. Yeah, Jiren could be like Acnologia and Fairy Heart Zeref level people are dangerous, but like he's just gonna steamroll everybody else. His flames are harder than sun, but like look at the damage. And think about it like this. Think about it like this. No, think about it like this. So Yami can cut through dimensions. But Yami against Makarov's max height that he was in Sirius Island. He's like a mile tall. Yami's dimension slash will go through it, but it's so small that it's just going to... It's going to be like if someone stabbed you with a small knife. Instead of, a giant blade that, cut Veto in half. To them, it's going to be like a tiny little cut. That's essentially what it'd be of Yamamoto slashing Alderaan. Alderaan is just going to yell and kill him. Let's see. Alderaan gets burned by Yama's Bankai. It's not gonna. The thing is, like, his attacks aren't gonna do enough size or damage to him, and Alderaan just has to yell. Alderaan's shout was splitting mountains and clearing out the sky. And then he just used Thicket of Arms. Like, Alderaan is busted. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do some videos soon. I've got a couple planned out. I'm gonna do some ones on hybrid types. I've got planned. I'm gonna do a video on Gajeel that I'm very excited to get to. I just gotta work up the energy to get to it. thoughts on Mechagodzilla? I thought he was really cool. I really liked his design. I thought it made him look. It looked just like this evil atomic version of Godzilla, and I love that. It's kind of like it's kind of just like, you know, burning off the skin, and he's the Terminator. I thought it was really cool. Can not to be Yhwach. The thing is with the, I think he can with his Savage Dragonfire. I think that would beat him, just because one, Yhwach works on a time-based ability. Natsu can burn time. He just has to get to his Savage Dragonfire. You put the Aetherius Dragon Force Natsu in there, he blitzes Yhwach and kills him. He's wearing Conceptual Burning Fire. I gotta read Bastard. That's one of those ones that's been on my list forever. So people like Irene Dragon, August Magic, Larkade Demon, Natsu Demon. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Mag and Zoro gotta help Asta. I'm wondering what they're gonna do. Because, like, how strong are they gonna be? What are they gonna come in the series with? Could Fairyheart, Zeref, and Space Time Logia be Egyptian? No, Yugi, no way. Like, Atem and Yugi are so broken. The fact they can, in Waking the Dragons, they surpass the concept of infinity. He can summon Horikiri, who is a multiversal god creator. He can freely travel in time and manipulate fate. He is, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has absurd high-level characters. Like, Zork was pulling dimensions together by existing. Yusei was dueling around a star and tanked a supernova. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Power levels are actually really ridiculous. Like, the Supreme King could fuse multiverses together. Like, they're too busted. Mechagodzilla was cool. He looked like a Terminator version of Godzilla. I love that. I thought he was cool. And I love when they had, like, the breath clash. I might watch that movie again. I really liked it. And every single time I saw Kong on screen, I thought I was watching a Rocky movie. That was probably one of the funnier parts of it. The way that just Kong was portrayed. I thought it was a really good movie. Jaden is really cool too. Jaden is my, like, Yugi and Atem are my favorite overall, and like, but Jaden would be the one I want to hang out with, because Yu-Gi-Oh! GX would be the world I want to live in. Like, if I got to pick one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds to live in, GX would be the most fun. Could you imagine going through, like, if your high school, everything was settled by like, duel monsters? That would be, like, so fun. And then, like, you can get so good you become a professional. You just duel as your job. Every once in a while, you duel somebody for a little bit, and then you get millions and millions of dollars if you're really good. Like, you live in a world centered where things are settled through card games. That'd be the most fun. Like, Jaden's definitely my second favorite, only under Yugi and Atem. Who would win a duel, Jaden and between Jaden and Yusei? I think Jaden would win, because the thing about Jaden, at the end of the day, he's got super polymerization. Like, that's gonna screw over, like, almost anything that Yusei has. Dark Schneider from Bastard Fire. Like, isn't that guy, like, multiversal and, like, super broken? Yeah, I think Jaden beats Yusei. Jaden has a lot of really unfair cards too, because you have to think when Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters duel, they're using the anime versions of cards. So, like, Jaden has, like, Bubble Man, where it's like, if he's just in the last thing in his hand, automatic summon, gets the 2 cards. He doesn't have to do the full requirements of being the only thing on. I think it was the only thing on the field as well. And then he's got like, he's just got, like, way better setup, and he's got all these anime-only cards on top of that. Natsu Burning Power work against real world, or is it only against Magic? It works against everything. Natsu can destroy real things too. It's not just Magic. Because Natsu as well is also really physically strong. It's kind of like how it doesn't have to be Magic Fire for him to eat it. He's eating regular fire, he's eating cursed fire. Dragon Surge can just eat their attribute. Gajil's eaten anti-magic metal twice. Like, their dragon ability, dragon power is a separate power source from magic. So, on top of all their dragon stuff, or their being a wizard stuff, there's also their dragon abilities. Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh! 10 will ever get surpassed as Duelist? No. No way. No, he is the grandfather of Yu-Gi-Oh! He is the starter. He is the king of games. He is the original and needs to be kept that way. He is the best one. He can summon Horikiri. He can summon the character that created their whole multiverse. And even in 5Ds, it said that Yugi was the greatest duelist that ever lived. So what's your top 3 Beyblade? I haven't rewatched Beyblade in a while. Last time I rewatched Beyblade was when I was in A School of the Navy. So it's been years. I might rewatch it soon. I've been thinking about rewatching something. It might be Beyblade. I do like the original Beyblade. I haven't watched anything beyond the original one. I haven't watched any of the newer ones. I might. I really liked Beat 'em On 2 as like one of my early younger animes, but I hated the Beat 'em On sequel series. They made me so mad. Has anyone in the chat seen Beat 'em On? The original was so cool because it essentially was like this weird Wild West style series, but you had these toys that were guns. And it was actually really cool. And in the game portion of it, I liked that they had the different variations of the game, but the main one was like direct hit battle. And they took that out in the sequels, and I hated that so much. It was just a game shot show, and I hated that. I hated the sequel ones. It made me so sad because I love the original one. Horikiri is not a below Wendy. Stop it. I love those series where they can take a really weird concept and do it so over the top where you have to get sucked into the world to really understand it. That's one of the things I liked about Toriko. It's one of the things I liked about Build King. That's one of the things I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a big fan of that. I've always really liked that concept. One Piece, that's the same thing. Super all around pirates and whatnot. Oh, probably not as crazy though as Yu-Gi-Oh! like Yu-Gi-Oh! And how ingrained a card game is, or Beyblade. If it's never stronger than Sting and Rogue, no, I don't think so. Not anymore. Not anymore. No way. They did Joey Wheeler dirty really when he wasn't able. No, if he beat Merrick, that would have been. It was weird that like the idea of him actually defeating Merrick, but I like what they did in the anime. I thought that was better. Because, like, it's like that was Joey almost saving the world from willpower alone. Not from, like he was getting shot with attacks from a sun god. They were in a shadow game. So he actually was getting hit. Like, when you summon one of the god cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the way that it works is, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's the hologram, you're putting down, the card on a dual disc, and it makes a hologram of a monster, whatever's on the card. Some of the creatures on the cards are actually existed in the Yu-Gi-Oh! World at one point, and there's cards that become like spirits that become existent based off cards, dual spirits, with that you have the god cards, the 3 Egyptian gods. If you summon them in a card game, you're essentially calling just think about in Black Clover, like what happened with Noct when they did the demon ritual and he summoned that high level demon. Anytime in a duel you summon one of the god cards, you're doing that because you now have called upon this god, and it's taking the summon seriously because you're now saying you summon it to do their bidding. So they only work with people that they choose because they were killing people that were using them. That's how it works in the Yu-Gi-Oh lore. And it's in the story. Normal person can't summon one of the gods, or the gods will kill them if they're not worthy. Like, Joey was fine. Joey took hits from an Egyptian god multiple times. As a human with no powers, no crazy backstory. He was just some dude who, grew up in an abusive household and became really good at a card game. If Otsutsuki invaded Fairy Tail, only Dragon God stand a chance, Natsu would be fine. The Ototsukis aren't that crazy. Not yet. Like, the ones that we've seen aren't that impressive. Yusuke kills Inuyasha with no difficulty. Yeah, I mean, actually, Inuyasha has hacks with that one last sword. Man. Let's see. Let me read some more of the chat. How long have I been going on this stream? 2.5 hours. I think, is there anything left? That we want to go over? You can't cheat. You can't cheat if you're the best because you make the rules. The thing is, like, in the Yu-Gi-Oh world, they also all have powers. Jaden's deck is full of dual spirits, and they can give him the cards he needs. Atem can manipulate fate. Atem and Yugi can manipulate fate and giving them what card they want. Yusei has clear mind, so he can see every single card possibility, draw outcome, and make a scenario for it and strategy around it. And then he has the power of the Crimson Dragon, which can create cards. Yuma can recode cards and make up new ones with his Zexal powers. Frickin', what's his name? Playmaker, Yusaku, can use his what is this? Storm Access and take a card out of the Data Storm and gain a new card mid-duel. But anyway, I'm gonna call it on the stream. Thanks everyone for showing up. Wait, what? He is not below Mirror Jane. Who's not below Mirror Jane? How strong is Gray? He's like, Gray is like upper Spriggan level. Ray right now is easily upper Spriggan level based off of like things that Gray's done with like fighting E&D and demolishing Invul and whatnot. He's definitely up there. I really want to see what him and Natsu's transcendent magic is. Anyway, I'm gonna call it. We're gonna go. It's been 2.5 hours. I appreciate everyone for coming out, and look forward to the Shonen Jump chapters tomorrow. It's gonna be Build King's last day. I'm sad. I'm hoping maybe another magazine will buy the rights to it and continue Build King. Maybe some other like magazine sees its potential. I don't know. I'm just being a little optimistic, but I will miss it regardless.